Yeah.
All right, and we're live. Welcome to the first edition episode, whatever you want to call it, of the Constant Grind podcast. I'm Will. I'm joined here in St. Mary's, PA with Zac. Joining us from Reading, the Reading area, Toby. Quick breakdown of what we want to do here. 2020 has been a shit year for everybody. So we're hoping to bring some positivity into this negative ass world, some education with health, fitness, nutrition. Mr. Zac here is in a mobile chair device unit. So we're going to have a look into his life with that, challenges, success stories, everything he's gone through with that. Tobe's background is nutrition, fitness. If you can't tell by the broad shoulders on that hunky gentleman right there, he a complete wealth of knowledge when it comes to that. So we'll be getting into that. So right now we'll kind of go around the table here and everyone kind of give their 2 cents on what we want to get into, what they a generalization of their story, what they want to bring to the table, and we'll go from there. Start getting into some stuff. Zac, go ahead and lead us off, man.
Well, when I was 19, I was in a car accident, left me in a wheelchair bound, and I had to figure out a new life of how I was going to move forward. And it's quite a struggle for some time, but you figure out a way to do it and just overcome all obstacles and keep pushing forward and keep doing what you love. That's what I'm leaning towards, show you guys that anything's possible with a little bit of work. And that's pretty much I'm just going to give some motivation and hopefully get you guys, get your asses in gear.
Hell yeah.
Zac, I have a ton of questions for you, man. So
good.
Once we get into that, we'll especially for mindset and how to, everybody has bad days. Even people, the greatest mentors in the world have bad days. So I'm really excited to hear how you overcome a lot of obstacles.
Heck yeah.
All right. How about you, man? Give us a rundown of your background, your journey through the health and fitness world, how you accrued all the knowledge and wisdom that I love picking your brain about. So go ahead and give us a rundown, man.
Yeah, so always been health and fitness. When I was 10, I always thought that if you could get big muscles, you could be a superhero. So that was the goal, was to be able to fly and punch through walls. I soon learned that no matter how big you get, you can't punch through walls and stuff like that without getting in trouble. But along the way, I don't like doing anything without understanding. So it must be my personality type. I have to research so much, like why, say I get a cramp. Why did I get a cramp? Oh, you're deficient in this. Why am I deficient in this? I'm eating all this foods. Oh, well, your body probably doesn't absorb this. And there's all these tests. Anyway, lots of stuff. But I don't like doing anything without being educated on it. So being that way, I've learned so much over the years. I love that I have friends that ask questions like Will, and I hope Zac can pick my brain a little bit because I don't talk enough and I always forget some of the stuff that I know. And just a wealth of information. Love everything about it, especially the mindset side of everything. I would love to become a life coach, speak, and that's what we're doing here, spreading our inspiration, motivate you guys, and to dominate the day and dominate your dreams. And this is going to be an exciting road trip.
Oh yeah.
Yes, it is.
And what a year to start it.
Yeah,
year 2020. What a year it's been. So where do you guys want to start? Tobe, what do you got for Zac? What do you want to know?
Oh man, Zac. So how old are you now, Zac?
I'm 28 now.
You're 28 now. Oh boy,
Yep.
You're a young pup. All right.
Oh yeah.
Let's even just start. So you were 19, you said, when this happened?
Yeah. Yep.
How?
Car accident.
Right. So even just getting back into a daily routine, I'm sure you felt defeated a lot because even now, I'm sure you're used to it, but things that we take for granted, running, I say, get up, brush your teeth. Not that it's hard for you now. I'm sure you got it down, but how was getting back into a routine after your accident?
It was hard because you realize what you take for granted. Getting in and out of the car, you forget something in the house, you have to put the wheelchair together, getting out of the car, go back into the house. It's like turns into like a 10-minute ordeal. But before, you take a lot for granted, you realize, and getting back into daily living was very hard at first. Going from 100 miles an hour to 0 miles an hour, being able to get taken you can't get out of bed. You need help getting out of bed, getting dressed. It was hard at first. It was very hard. Now I'm pretty well independent. It's just at first I never liked asking people for help ever. But I had the mindset that I knew I was going to push forward and not give up. And I've seen through my years of going to therapy and stuff, people sort of would take a day off of therapy because they just didn't feel like going, or they didn't feel like getting out of bed that day to go to therapy to work out. I was the total opposite. I couldn't wait to go to therapy. I needed to get out of the bed, start working hard. I had that mindset, and I think the mindset came from when I was from wrestling. I really take it back to when I wrestled in high school and stuff. It really disciplined me. I felt like it was hard at times. I'm not going to sit here and say that, yeah, I was happy-go-lucky every day. I was pissed off a lot. I pissed off the world for a while. But you realize you got two choices. You either can stop or you can move forward and try to adapt and overcome that. It was rough. It was definitely rough at first, though.
Yeah, I bet, man. So is there any like mental, what do I say? Not games, but like rules that you follow. Like even if you wake up and well, for me anyway, I know when I wake up, if I'm going to be in a bad mood, I know as soon as I open my eyes, it's like, like I'm not already where I need to be. What's one of your methods that you do to get back in the zone?
I literally, it's hard. Like I'll wake up on days, everybody has some days where it's just like you said, you wake up and you just know you're going to be, it's like, you feel like you're going to have a bad day. But I think as soon as that day you say that to yourself, it happens. Like you think you're going to have a bad day, then I start dropping stuff on the ground and I have to bend over, pick it up every 2 seconds. I think that it just comes from, then I stop, think, it's like, take a deep breath and I move forward. The day gets better. But everybody has bad days though,
Yeah.
So it's just my mental, how do I get through it? That's a tough one.
I guess how do you, when you know that that's coming, how do you set the pace for the day, right? Like either you run the day or the day runs you.
You're right.
So how do you get your mindset started, or what do you tell yourself? I guess that might be an easier question. What do you tell yourself?
Honestly, I'm not lying when I say this. I tell myself, quit being a bitch. I'm not lying. That's what I tell myself. I seriously say, quit being a bitch and just do it. It's not, and when you tell yourself that, a lot can change in that second. You can do things that's another thing. You can do things that you never thought you could do. Like there's things I've did that I did not think I would be able to do, but I tried it. I failed multiple times trying it, but that was my goal, to work towards that. So, then you look back and think, when I was first in my accident and I went to therapy, I literally couldn't sit on the edge, I couldn't sit up on the edge of a bed myself. And I thought, boy, I really screwed up this time. I really did a good job.
Yeah,
but
there's no second chance. There's no
no,
oh shit, that was close.
That was close. That happened.
This is it. I did it.
Yeah. So, but that second you realize it's like, man, and looking back, your body can do amazing things. Your mind, when you put your mind to something, it is unbelievable what you can do. And I'm living proof of that. I was told I was never supposed to be able to be in a manual wheelchair. They said I'd be leaving the power wheelchair because I couldn't move my arms. I couldn't bend my arms above my head or nothing. And it was like, they're like, this is how it's probably going to be. And there was no way I was going to stop at that. So, I mean, it's unbelievable what your mind and body can do.
That was the thing I was thinking about the other day. I would really like to know how many people are out there that have been told by doctors, this is what you're limited to. This is all you're going to be able to do. You're not going to be able to do anything else. And those people in that moment take that as, well, my life's over. And then they just live that life. You know, they don't have that mental inclination or the want to say, screw you. Yeah. I'm trying this and I'm going to keep trying this, because you hear those stories. Just like, you know, we were talking about our good buddy Daniels that was in that Razor Wreck a couple of years ago. And Nathan, you hear this, we want you on, buddy. You know, we definitely want your personality on here. But man, that mentality of, you know, screw you, I'm doing this. I'm making myself better. I don't care what you say. And I want to know what the mind-body connection is to that, to where, you know, your brain is forcing your body or doing whatever it does in there to rebuild, reconstruct, and make you, you know, get back to as close to what as close as what you used to be.
You're right. But when that actually comes down to it and a doctor tells you, hey, you may never walk again, or you may never do this again, it's like, oh shit. Yeah, this is it. But you're right. When a doctor says that to somebody, it literally just floors you. You don't know what to do. And I can see how people just say, you know, man, I guess that's going to be it. But it's not. It's definitely not it. I mean, that's one thing you can get through this. If you can think it and do it, anything's possible. Anything.
Absolutely. I believe that the mind is stronger than the body, because it sets the pace for the body. And I like that you brought Daniels up, because I helped him too.
I forgot you guys were working together a little bit.
Yeah, with nutrition and getting more mobility back, and him learning how to reuse his muscles and stuff. So he would be a great one to have on here.
Yeah.
But we should, even for all of us right now, it's like, how do we take that chance? How do we take that moment and apply it right now before we ever lose something? Like, how do we I know we're doing it with this podcast, and this is awesome, but how do we not let anything get in our way and say, screw you, society, I'm going to be on top and I'm going to make it, and we're going to do it. And the biggest thing that I learned, I guess, is you can't do it alone. So that's why this is going to be a fun ride.
Yeah,
you're right.
And that was another question I had for you, Zach, saying that you don't, you know, obviously you want to be as independent as you can be, but how, I guess, I don't know if I want to ask how hard it was, but at what point, I guess, would you tell someone else that's in a similar situation where they're just so frustrated they can't do the things that they want to do? How would you say to someone like, hey, it's okay to ask help, you know, don't ever stop pushing towards doing, you know, whatever it is that you want to do to become that independent. But I feel like for a lot of people, it's that initial, hey, help me do this, get me through the motions, get me used to doing it how I need to do it. And then, you know, to give someone that stepping stone so they can continue to progress on their own.
That was my hardest thing, is I was an independent person. I would struggle my ass off before I asked for help. And getting into, when it comes down to it, I've seen it time and time again with people I've talked to. They didn't like I never wanted to ask for help, but I needed to ask for help to reach my goal. I needed maybe a little bit of help to get to that point. And then, but it comes to a point where the person who's helping you needs to step back a little bit and let you struggle, which is hard to do at first, you know, like with my wife, Brittany, she would help me a lot, but then she started to back off and say, like, you can do it yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what you need. Honestly, you need that, where she said, no, I'm not going to go get you a drink. Go do it yourself.
Yeah. You need someone to look at you.
Honestly, yeah.
And tell you quit being a bitch.
Yes, you're right. That's what you need. Because you start getting independent on somebody, say, oh, I don't feel like getting out of my car to get my wheelchair together, or to go in the house and get something. So I'll call Brittany. She's like, well, if she's not home, I have to go get it myself anyway. So why not just go do it? And it's like, comes to a point where at first you do need help to do things. Like I have a lift the Jeep, and I can't get up into it completely myself. So she has to help me up. And that killed me to have to say, hey, can you come here and like help me boost my ass up in Jeep? But I came to the point where I do need help to do certain things, but I try and I'm working towards that goal to do it myself. But I mean, you have to ask for a little bit of help at first.
Yeah.
You really do. And that was a very hard thing for me. That was very hard. The hardest thing about this whole crazy accident was it's not the part of not walking. Honest to God, I can deal with that. It is everything that comes along with it. I mean, like my right hand doesn't work at all. If I could have my hands back, I'd give away the walking, honestly. I mean,
Yeah.
The hand thing, like when you can't pick something up or open something up, it's like, oh, it's frustrating as hell. But I learned how to adapt that situation. I use my teeth. I'm probably going to bust my teeth out someday, but
Hey, they make fake teeth.
They make teeth. Yeah. But that's what I mean. You figure ways out to do things. You really can.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Is if you don't mind me asking, is that because of the spinal injury, or did something else happen to your hand?
Because my injury is C5, C6, I broke my neck, and I don't have I shouldn't have any arm function or anything. My tricep shouldn't work, but I work things like I lift every day, go down my basement, do different workouts, and I believe that's what got my triceps and stuff to start working again. Because even though they didn't work, I was still working them. Like my grandfather helps me do different therapy workouts, and even things that weren't working, I kept working. And I think the repetition, the mind really started bringing that stuff back. I mean, it's unbelievable. I could go on forever. We'll get into it a lot, but I went out of the country to get stem cell, and stem cell therapy was a huge thing for me.
Now, is that something that could continue to benefit your progress?
I really believe so, because they say, up to a year after you'll be getting function back. You can still get different function sensations back up to a year. After that, it really don't get much back.
And it's time for another
go
round of it.
Yeah, but I've been since I haven't did it. It's been 7 years now, and I'm still getting stuff back.
That's crazy.
Like, it's just crazy. It's crazy.
Wow.
That's gotta be expensive.
Yeah, it is expensive. It's expensive. It's expensive in this. Yeah, but I did it right when after I got hurt, and it's pretty neat.
Yeah,
definitely an experience. So Toby, tell me about, how do you get motivated? Like if you don't feel like lifting that day or getting up for the day, and I guess my question is how do you fit into a busy lifestyle? How does somebody fit getting a workout in an hour a day? Like if they say, oh, I just can't do it today, I don't feel like it. How do you do it?
Well, it all comes down to if it's a priority or not. And that's the same with anything that you're trying to do in life, in business. If it's not a priority, then you'll never make time for it. With a lot of my clients, it seems that everybody has the same job. A lot of the females are nurses, and I have a couple friends, many friends that are nurses, and they compete in some type of athletic competition, or they're athletes, or they're Olympian athletes. They bodybuild, things like that. So they have to find the time to eat. And, especially now nurses, doctors, everybody in healthcare is super busy. But they still find a way to do it, right? So new clients that I get, and they're like, oh, I'm a nurse, I don't have time to eat. I can only eat one meal a day, and it's right before I go to bed, and then I go to sleep. And it's because it's not a priority. So for myself, it took a long time to learn this, but 80% of how you look and feel is from your food. It's from what you eat. So if I wake up and I feel like, or even going through the day, and it's like, I don't think I want to go to the gym today. I don't. If my mindset is not there for the gym, I don't even worry about it, because I know it's more of a priority to make sure that I eat good. And that way it keeps my brain rolling, keeps my, the depression away, the anxiety. We're all battling something, right?
Yeah.
So it's I guess when I learned that bad food plays a role in that, and being deficient in certain vitamins and nutrients, that your depression and anxiety can run wild, then it's like, okay, I got to take this eating thing more seriously. And then even this is a little curveball going off topic here, but look at autistic children, right? And now they're starting to say that the more organic, the more natural they eat, the better. Well, why can't we? Why doesn't everybody eat better? Why? It's just going to benefit you. It's going to benefit your brain. It's going to benefit the stress of life. But I'm so social and I love working out so much that there's usually nothing that stops me.
Yeah. No, and you said about the food. Like my wife, Brittany, she's can't have gluten. So we don't eat, like, she can't eat pasta gluten-free. It's all has to be gluten-free. And it's just unbelievable. When I go somewhere and eat, since I don't eat gluten, and I go somewhere and eat gluten, I feel like crap. I feel like shit. Like the difference of me not cutting out of my diet is just crazy because I feel bloated. I feel like crap. It's like, man, that's really weird, you know?
Well, that's kind of what I was dealing with too. Even when I was doing keto, you know, that in itself, the after about a month of doing it strictly and doing it the right way, it was a noticeable difference. But, you know, even after the fact, you know, eating clean, I guess keto was a little early to jump into that, but just eating clean in general, have a good breakfast, and then still feeling like crap afterwards. Because it was like night and day. You get up, you have that initial, like, feel refreshed, you feel good, eat something, what I thought was a great meal. You know, have some eggs, some avocado, you know, and then maybe some toast. And then 30 minutes later, 45 minutes driving to work, and it's just like light switch. You could crawl right back into bed. Caffeine's not touching it. And dealing with that for over a year, finally going to the doctor and saying, hey, look, could this be some kind of allergy, some kind of reaction to what I'm putting into my body? And like, well, we can test you. And then come to find out that I am really not allergic. I don't have celiacs to where I have crazy problems if I eat gluten. Cheers. But finding out that I was very intolerant to it. And, you know, even, you know, I'm sacrificing some of my overall well-being, feeling good by having this wonderful, delicious beverage here and cheating here and there. But yeah, man, just, you know, the littlest things you wouldn't think of. Found out I was allergic or intolerant to gluten, casein, and egg whites. So that's like everything that's out there to eat is egg whites, gluten, and milk protein, basically, you know? So, but then cutting that out, it's like the light switch gets turned on. It's like, wow, I feel like a normal human being again. I can function. But man, it's that balance of having a tasty treat or, you know, running at optimal, you know, performance all the time. But that's right. That's that balancing act of finding what's the word I'm looking for? Moderation. Doing everything in moderation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say that 90% of the people that are gluten intolerant in this country, if you ever get a chance to go to another country, say Italy, make sure you enjoy the pasta there, because in this country, wheat is not wheat. Wheat has been GMO'd since the 1950s, since the Cold War, because we used to get it from Russia. And then when the Cold War happened, the United States government said to all of our farmers, hey, you got to grow this wheat. And we made it bigger, we made it fatter, we made it heavier, and there's a huge demand for it. So even nowadays when they say, oh, it's GMO free, well, it's been GMO'd since the 1950s. So yeah, it's not GMO'd lately, but it has been forever.
Part of that story, they didn't like the wheat from Italy because it looked small and scrawny. It didn't look like a hearty, healthy plant, because Italy's wheat does look like this little weed. But the difference is night and day between that and the garbage that we have.
Yeah, it's not natural. It's not natural. And it's, oh man, I could talk for days on everything, like even pesticides, coffee's the most heavily treated pesticide product on the planet. So if you drink coffee and you feel like shit, it could be because you're drinking a shitty coffee and it's not organic, and it's the pesticides are getting to you. But everything, the pesticides are in the rain now. You can't get away from it. Everything that's organic inside this country, it still has trace amounts of pesticide in it because it's in the rain, and it gets on the grass, and then even the organic grass and the organic cows eat it, and it's in your organic beef. It's literally in this country. It's really tough to rid yourself of all the negative things.
Yeah, even talking to my doctor, she said that I never knew this, but if you eat corn that's not organic, there's typically enough pesticide in that ear of corn to kill all the bacteria in your gut.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next time you drive down the road, I just had this conversation with a friend. He said, "Oh man, they come out with this pesticide that it doesn't hurt corn and it kills all the weeds." And I'm like, no, that's not how it works. They modified the corn so that way weeds don't grow and kill the corn off. So next time you drive down through or past a cornfield, if it's might just be junk corn, but if it's human corn, you won't see a weed around. And it's like, okay, and we're eating that?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Wow.
It's almost like, all this information's coming out. It's almost like this health wave revolution that's going on in the country, where luckily a lot of people are starting to become more conscious about what we're putting into our bodies. And it's not just looking at the macronutrients anymore, getting your carbs, your proteins, and your fats in. It's, all the little stuff you don't think of, all the mineral content, the vitamins, and all the other crap that you're taking in along the way that you don't even think of. You don't even think of, we didn't think of when we were growing up.
No.
So who knows what kind of stuff, we're going to grow into from eating all the hormone-filled chicken and beef and Lunchables, whatever that.
Yeah, whatever that was.
Yeah.
No, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
And on that note too, I think it's 93% of people in this country have magnesium deficiency, which magnesium plays in over 300 roles in your body, all the way from your brain to your eyes to your skin to your everything, literally everything. And just in vegetables, I'm going to use carrots as an example. So in 1960 is when they started making nutrition labels, and they still use that information from 1960. Okay. Well, the soils are so depleted, the foods are so GMO'd that one carrot, the amount that one carrot, I forget the gram size of it, but you have to eat 3 carrots now to get the same amount of magnesium as from 1960 from one carrot. Wow. So, I mean, there's hundreds of foods, thousands of food, every food that we eat that grows in the ground. Can you imagine how micronutrient they are deficient from magnesium, potassium? And they're still using the labels from way back in the day when things were in the golden era, right? And yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible.
Well, I mean, how long did it take us to get away from the food pyramid? We're down at the very bottom. It's nothing but carbs. And up at the very top, the fats and the oils is the smallest thing that you should be consuming. And how that thing just needs completely flipped over on its axis and inverted. And, you go to a diet where you cut out mostly, obviously your body needs carbs to function properly, but at a much smaller scale is what we've been led to believe. And you increase your fat intake. And man, I just know from my own experience where you're eating fatty meats, using avocado oil with your eggs, and just kind of, and limiting your simple carb intake, just your overall, the mental clarity that comes with it, the increased energy levels that I've got. Cause that's my whole thing is, after 10 years of working in the oil field, eating trash, I feel like I'm in like a recovery mode right now. How do I put back that 10 years of damage that I did, and try and, not fall apart by the time I'm 40. But yeah, just
like what you said about the mental clarity, you feel better when you eat better.
Yeah.
You think better when you eat better.
Yeah.
It's true. And I didn't believe it until I try to eat as healthy as possible now. I mean, but the energy thing is huge. Like when I ate like crap, I didn't feel like doing anything. Like I would come home from work and it's like, I'm drained. But the better you eat, the better you feel.
And that was even, I went to the doctor and we went back and forth, had all kinds of testing done as to why I felt this way. And, the food intolerance that I have, but then they'd always say, eat a good diet, exercise. Cause I was trying to get treated for depression and everything, man. Like I was literally a shell of a human being floating through life, and come to find out, I want to say a lot of that was being on the road for weeks at a time, working 16, 17-hour days. You know, you're driving almost 2 hours to get to work, 12-hour shift, almost 2 hours back. And then not always the best dietary choices. You know, it's what's convenient.
Yeah.
Not, you know, going to the gym when you can go to the gym, but after, you know, doing what you do on pad for 12 hours, then driving 4 hours a day, you don't want to do anything. You just want to go to bed. So, you know, but then after working through that, working with the doctor, and man, I gotta say, anyone listening to this, get blood work done. That's the first thing to start in your journey to start feeling better as a human being. Go talk to a doctor, get your blood work done, and find out what you're lacking. Vitamin D3, that's a huge one. I know I upped that. I started seeing improvements after a few months. That's the other thing. Don't expect things to happen overnight. We're in this instant gratification culture where it's like, oh, I changed something for a couple days. I've done keto for a couple days. I don't notice anything. I don't feel any better. This is stupid. It's like turning a cruise ship. You know, you got to go a couple degrees, and man, that thing's going to take a long time to turn and come back around. You know, you got to be patient, committed. You got to be committed to it.
But that,
Hey, Will, sorry, Zach. I got a question for you, Will. Back when your doctor said to eat a healthy diet. I mean, luckily you know a little bit into that. You've dabbled in it, and you got good friends that know some stuff. But what do you do when they say eat good? What do you eat? They don't tell you.
That's where it comes down to the individual to do your research.
Yes.
Dive down this rabbit hole, man, because it is, I mean, we'll try and lay out as much as we can for you. And for me, it's mostly just personal experience, but everybody's different. You know, eat healthy. That is such a broad statement.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what do you do? Eat chicken and broccoli. There you go. You got your protein and your vegetables. That's boring as hell. Nobody wants to do that. But not only that, you got to find out what your body reacts to, because on both ends of the spectrum, you have people that do all vegan, no animal products whatsoever. And people thrive on that. They do amazing. I worked with a dude, shout out to Myron, full vegan. And this dude is jacked, goes to the gym, trains hard, puts in the work, and is so dedicated, doesn't let anything sway him off course. So you go hardcore vegan, or on the other end of the spectrum, the carnivore diet that's coming out, that's all it is. Meat.
Yep. Well, it's not just meat. Yeah, it's nose to tail of an animal, every part of the animal. Yeah.
And both ends of the spectrum, you have people that thrive, and then other people you throw in there and they do terrible. You know, not to bash on vegans, but a lot of them just, you know, very skinny. They just don't look healthy, and it's like,
you need to have variety.
yeah, if it's a mental thing, or you're doing it for the cruelty of animals, hey, I salute you. You do you. That's amazing that you're that dedicated to something. But you know, you got to find what works for you. Because I can tell you right now, if I went all vegan, I would be absolutely miserable mentally. I'm sure physically I would feel like crap. But that's the thing. You got to find what works for you. Mm-hmm. And testing things, it's not going to happen overnight. You got to, you know, give it a month of eating a certain way, and keep a journal, write stuff down. Say, hey, today I felt better than I did yesterday. I noticed this doesn't hurt like it did yesterday. That's like a big thing with me and cutting out carbs. A lot of that inflammation goes away. Like my knees were always swollen. My back was always killing me. You cut out the carbs, that inflammation goes down. It's like, I feel like I'm 18 again. I feel great. I feel like I can move around, and, you know, I'm not going to fall apart like the old man I'm turning into. If I could figure out how to get my hair back, I mean, that would be a plus. But
well, I'll never forget when I got fitted for a wheelchair, they fitted me 2 sizes bigger because they said, you know, when people get injured and stuff, they don't do as much. So, you know, they get bigger when they gain weight when they're in a wheelchair. And that was the number one thing that was definitely not happening with me. I knew that I was going to eat healthy and I was going to work out. And I'm just as active as I was before my accident now. I mean, I'm constantly doing something. So that's the thing. If you eat good, that's what got me really nervous. Cause I didn't eat good at first because I didn't want to eat because I didn't want to gain weight. but I thought I was going to gain weight if I ate, but that's not the case. I needed to eat and eat healthy to get my energy to do things. So I don't know. It definitely is just got to stay steady and just go along with it. And also going on the thing with you saying stuff doesn't happen overnight. Things won't happen overnight. It's going to take time for anything to happen, between feeling better eating, getting like my thing, getting strength back, anything. It doesn't happen overnight. So don't give up on it at first when it doesn't work, That's what I learned with this. It takes time as much as it sucks.
Hence the name Constant Grind, because that's what we're trying to push here is, man, you want that lifestyle, that's what it is. It's a grind.
That's
all
what
day,
it is.
every day. I'm not a smart individual book wise. Some decent common sense and the ability to go to work and bust my ass. I've made a life for myself and my family that I guarantee majority of the teachers I had never thought would happen.
Don't ask me any math questions, because
exactly
not good at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, back to what you guys were saying, even when you do eat healthy, right, you're doing it for a long time, and then you start to wonder, like, why am I not feeling better? So like Will said, everybody's got to do their research, and I hope we have time, through our journey with this, with the Constant Grind podcast, that I can lay out a lot of this information that I got in my head, because for a long time, man, you got to eat greens, right? You got to add some greens because they're healthy, they're leafy. And now you can actually do a DNA test to see if you have this problem that I'm going to talk about real quick. But I think I talked to Will about it not too long ago. But in spinach, so spinach contains this product, or it's a chemical called oxalic acid. And my DNA is very sensitive to it. And what oxalic acid does is it rides the micronutrients into your cells, and it causes all kinds of inflammation and damage and things like that. But if you ever eat spinach, did you ever notice how you get that fuzzy feeling on your teeth? This is a question for you two.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
never paid attention.
Okay. So
I know exactly what you mean.
Next time you eat spinach, notice the fuzzy feeling you get on your teeth. That's the oxalic acid attacking the calcium in your teeth. Okay, so if it's making your teeth fuzzy, imagine what it's doing to your cells on a cellular level, right?
That's
crazy. So some people are very sensitive to it, and I'm sensitive to it. And then I was also eating a lot of walnuts and pecans, because those are the healthiest nuts on the planet, right? And they got a lot of high in fat, good fats, omegas. And I'm like, I should be feeling better. I work out, I'm lean, I feel good, or I should feel better. And yet when my stomach, I try to be really in tune with my body. And when my stomach's not in tune, then my day is off, right? It goes back to just, if you eat crappy, you feel like crap. So it's like I'm putting in all this effort. What's wrong? Research. And it takes months sometimes. And then you find the gold nugget. And then I found that I must be sensitive to oxalic acid, because as soon as I cut out spinach and nuts and a few other things that are high in oxalic acid, boom, my life changed literally in a day. Wow. That my stomach didn't hurt anymore. And once my stomach hurts, I'm fatigued. I don't want to do anything. So yeah, crazy little things out there. And that's another reason why some vegans, they don't look healthy, or they become very unhealthy, because all this oxalic acid in the seeds and nuts and plants that they're eating are attacking their body and their joints. So that
wow.
Yeah, so question on that. So this kind of goes back to not necessarily looking at the macros that you're taking in, but the micros that you never see or never think of when it comes to issues like that your general, your family doctor, your family physician would never ever think to explore or even suggest to you to get checked. Where would you direct somebody to say, hey, this person can kind of go down this rabbit hole with you to really dive into what might be going on with your diet or what these micronutrients might be doing to your body? Because it seems like modern medicine has a long way to catch up to, where we're at now. Toby, we lost you.
Yeah. Can you still hear me?
Oh,
Yeah,
there you are.
Yeah. I don't know what happened. It just my camera it disconnected. Anyway, so I guess it all depends if like you're going through the process right now. A couple of clients that I've had, I've told them to just an easy way to do this is go onto Google, search oxalic acid or oxalates in food, and they can see a big list of foods that have and how much oxalic acid they contain. And it's like, okay, are you eating some of this? And if you are, or if you're eating a lot of it, or if, one of the, like spinach, a lot of people eat a lot of spinach because they think it's really healthy, try eliminating it. It's a process of elimination sometimes because we don't always have the money to go get these tests done, or we don't know people to, that's, I guess, how you would have to start, is seeing if something that you eat is on that list, and then limiting it and seeing how the process works.
Like you said about the doctors, a doctor, where would you go? Honestly, I feel that you have to be your own advocate. You have to go after. A doctor goes by the book.
Yeah.
And that's where I come in. That's where I struggle with. A doctor goes by the book when they tell you something, which I don't blame at all. They go by the book, but they don't know the other side of things.
Well, they don't know everything, right?
Yeah.
How can a doctor know everything?
Exactly.
What I think we're trying to say is, like, they go strictly by, what the modern, or what the general trend of the medical community is doing, where a lot of this like holistic side of it could play a huge benefit, which a lot of times just straight up contradicts what modern medicine is. That's why I'm fortunate to have the doctor I have. She's amazing. She is definitely very well versed in modern medicine, but she also takes into account the holistic approach and likes to offer that before, you go down for anxiety. It's, hey, try these supplements before. Here's some pills. Good luck.
Exactly.
Because that's one thing I've been preached by, because I was down there, when I was dealing with the fatigue and what I thought was depression, but really it was me eating like shit and working too much. And that's what they preach all the time. Clean up your diet, whatever that translates into for you, and exercise. And man, once you start doing those things, after a few weeks, it's not like a light switch is flipped on. It's like, man, I feel better. It's that moment of realization where it's like, normally sitting here, I would just want to go to sleep, but no, I got energy. Let's go do something. Let's go be productive. Let's go start a podcast and
see what we can do. No, but on a different note of that, just not eating and the doctor's stuff, they don't know what a person's heart is like either. Like what they are capable of. They know the medical terms. Like they when somebody gets in a life-changing accident like myself, they don't know what that person is capable of. They go by, you may never,
the generalization of people.
May never walk.
Right. They don't know your willpower.
They don't know your willpower. They don't know what you're made of. And that's the other thing. So you just gotta, I don't know. Yeah. It's crazy.
It's definitely a constant grind.
Yep. Constant grind.
Yeah. Our line. Hell yeah. No.
Yeah. Well, fellas, what time are we at there, Will?
We're about 50 minutes into this, I believe.
Oh, wow.
We're flying.
Yeah, we're freaking killing it, man. Hope this is entertaining or educational to somebody out there, because we're having fun. And we're going to keep doing this either way. So,
Yeah.
Oh, dude, as much as we possibly can. I mean, because
we're learning from each other too. That's the thing. Like I learned so much tonight already. It's like,
we would have been 30 minutes further into this if we didn't have 30 minutes invested in figuring out Zoom.
See,
learn how to get everything set up prior to this. So this is a production in the works.
And not gonna lie, I was a little nervous at first. I'm like, I never been on in camera, talked about that. Like,
hey Zach, come on down to my basement. We're gonna make some movies.
Where's the leather couch?
Yeah.
No, we're definitely gonna have a lot more of these. It's very educational for us, and definitely hope it's good for
that's
you guys.
exactly it. And if if we got anybody watching this, this is we're doing this for us, and we hope it benefits everybody else that's watching and listening too. We got so much to learn from each other. and it's gonna be a fun, wild ride.
We could definitely talk for days about stuff.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
mean, like I don't know the whole nutritional holistic side of stuff, so I am like seriously pumped to learn all this stuff. Literally, it's like the different anything. I mean, I'm excited.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
So what do you say?
We
I mean,
can keep talking. We can do whatever you guys want to do.
yeah, give her a good place to cut her off here.
Yeah. Well, why don't you just stop recording and then we'll finish up. We'll talk about some few things.
All right.
Cool.
Hey, thanks for checking us out. If you made it this far, we appreciate it. Keep following us, like us, subscribe. We're going to keep putting out some content. Send us an email at constantgrindnetwork@gmail.com. If there's anything specific you want to hear, we'll post the email in the comment section below, or in the description, I should say. Anything you guys want to know, anything we could potentially help you out with, shoot us an email. If we know something about it, we'll talk about it. If not,
any questions,
we'll make something up for you. All right.
Hey, thanks guys.
Yep. Thanks everybody.
We'll see you next time.
See you next time.